Well, guys, we did it. Another week down. And I have to say, this one was filled with a lot of much needed progress, a chicken laying an egg, and a whole lot of fun. If you're new here, welcome to Built Different. And if you're returning, welcome back, you crazy, beautiful nut jobs. Today I want to walk you through one of the biggest projects we've tackled to date, and that's turning these two Connexes behind me into actual functional units for us, including a storage or garage unit, and then also a fully furnished, kind of a luxury apartment, which we'll be using to house our persons all throughout the build for the house. So without further ado, let's get into it. So here's the backstory. We picked up two 40-foot Connex containers through an online purchase, two different sites that we chose. These are 40-foot talls. So they're 40-foot long. They are 9 feet tall, which gives us an extra half a foot of headspace inside the Connex itself. So we really were excited about that. I will put in the description who we used, but I'm not going to say I recommend either of them because I only purchased one container from each of them. So take that how you will. So this first Connex is for storage, and strictly storage. We're talking real garage style storage. Everything that we own is packed up in boxes, stored away. We have a very little furniture aside from our bedroom suite furniture and one kitchen island, and we chose not to get rid of that because it has a really nice thick marble top. So it was one of our first furniture purchases here in Texas. It was our first furniture purchase, and it acts as our kitchen table. So we've been living without furniture for about 6 years now. So the only thing we really wanted was our bedroom suite. So we kept that, and that is going to be in our second Connex, which is going to be the apartment. So storage is mostly just boxes and everything that managed to survive the 3-hour journey from the rental house to here. Now our second Connex is the one that's getting the full glow up. It is going to be our dry-in apartment, complete with running water, electricity, a full master bedroom, a separate toilet closet and shower, because we are smart that way. We are definitely going to be full on decorating it with a black and white, very country goth theme. So the aesthetic is very me. So first we're going to talk about the storage unit. We began by welding power outlets directly to the Connex walls and then got the power wired in. We then began moving our garage contents in and realized we were going to need some really beefy shelves to hold these heavy boxes. So we ended up building those in next. They are 16 feet in length on the one side, and then of course we had to build overhead shelves to utilize that additional space over top of our mini toolboxes. So this will house also our garage fridge and our full stand-in freezer, and then a neighbor gave me his little chest freezer, so that's also going to go in there. It is empty now, cries, because I haven't had a chance to stock it up as effectively as I would like through hunting, mostly because we're focused on all of this. We wanted a unit that would be weatherproof, rodent resistant, and just functional enough to withstand these long Texas summers that are about 9 months long. We might look at adding a mini split into the storage garage. It would not be framed in, it wouldn't have spray foam insulation, so it really wouldn't be as energy efficient to have the mini split in there running all the time to keep that temperature controlled. But it would make things bearable as we went about doing our several projects. I just got finished doing a oil change and rotation of tires, and I have to say it was an absolutely miserable experience, hence my garb. I am definitely just getting through that, but that a mini split is definitely something we're considering. Shut up! I don't know what you're doing. Anyway, so the apartment Connex, we ordered everything for space, and then we thought we were going to need the second unit technically to be a second storage unit, but we ended up actually rethinking it and going, we probably need another temporary space that would act as our living space. So we decided let's just build this out as our temporary apartment. Then it can double up as our guest home for family that visits. So, or maybe it change into an office. Who knows? The sky's the limit at this point. So we ended up doing a design layout through a free application online. So this is kind of the initial concept that we had for the build out. So this was really nice because it allowed us to envision what we were kind of looking for and looking at. And now we've made some adjustments along the way, especially dimension wise. That mini split has already been a lifesaver, especially during the build out. We had initially started framing this in without any air conditioning, and that wasn't going to work as we got further and further into the hotter months of the year. So this has just been worth its weight in gold just in the past couple of months. When we designed our build, we knew that we were going to put the washer and dryer in there because, let's just be honest, homesteading is a dirty business. And we were going through clothes like madmen. So we knew we needed to have a temporary permanent setup for our washer and dryer units. So we are planning on spray foam insulation through most of this. We had already kind of completed the shower room and the toilet room, and we really wanted to kind of button those up. So while we were in the process of waiting for the foam insulation to get delivered, we ended up installing that roll foam in those two rooms just so we could get the ball really rolling. So before anything pretty can happen, we have to get serious. Welding in our doors and windows, planning the electrical wiring, making sure we had enough power to run the lights, appliances, and everything else. We had underground power already run thanks to the forethought of Rich and the ability to borrow a neighbor's tools. We were able to send the 4-gauge aluminum wire from our main power where the house will be to our temporary apartment build. And then, of course, I got to decorate some of these standing pass-through fuse boxes with just a little bit of multitasking plants, trying to make things a little bit nicer, kind of hide the very mechanical look of these fuse boxes. So that was my job. I decided I was going to plant raspberries and blackberries, and hopefully this terrace ends up looking better than it does right now. The main aesthetic is going to be country goth, which, if you know me, that's definitely right up my alley. Rich and I both love a clean black and white look with pops and accents of country, and of course having deadheads everywhere is, I guess, goth. I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna be used by us for a while, so we wanted it to be comfortable, as well as we wanted it to be someplace that we could transform into a potential apartment or living space for guests. All right, so here's what we've learned so far is welding, absolutely worth it. If you can get your hands on, there is some really inexpensive welding equipment out there. I've been lucky enough that Rich already had that skill of welding, and he was able to teach it to me. So the storage Connex, I was the one welding in those boxes for the wiring and the transfer units and the sockets. It was a great learning experience for me. If you are unsure of doing it, I would learn. I would take the time to learn. What was great was by him setting me loose in that storage unit, it also taught me how to fix things that I had messed up on. So it was a great learning experience for me. I wouldn't trade it for the world. So welding, definitely worth it if you can. Otherwise, it can be expensive. If you hire someone to do it, it can be a little expensive. So my recommendation definitely is to learn that trade, try your hand at it. Even if it's just hobby welding, like it is technically for me, it is worth it, because then you feel like you own a lot more of your process and you have more independence from contractors. Also, plan out your floor plan ahead of time. There are so many free services online that help you design your floor plan. This is going to help you kind of envision what you're going for. Obviously, you can just frame in the main walls of the Connex with nothing else in mind. However, it was really nice to be able to envision what furniture could fit, how big the bedroom would have to be, how big our living space would have to be. And we really did originally plan to have storage at the very front where the two main doors open, and then a way to kind of get to a fuse box in that storage area. But as we were building it out, we just decided no, we were going to frame in the whole thing. So we've made changes to the design that we had initially had, but it wasn't so much change that it, threw out our plans entirely. So I think it is really important to plan ahead and make sure that you have the right thought of your floor plan, the right thinking, so that if you do make changes, you can always go back and alter the design. But I don't think you really have to. I think it's a good thing to be able to improvise as things come along. So planning is essential, but don't be afraid to make changes along the way. Now, here's one thing that I've learned through living in the camper for a year is you can live tiny, but don't skip out on your comforts. We definitely didn't live very comfortably for the first 4 months, I would say. And as we waited for the power to get installed, and so we were running off of generators and gasoline and propane and everything else. And so it wasn't the ideal situation, but with your shipping container apartment, if you're choosing to do a tiny home in it, for me, it was very much so I can live in a minimalist space, but I want the creature comforts. So we decided to go with a full kitchenette, a luxury toilet. And I know a lot of people will be saying, why did you pick a luxury toilet for your shipping container? Well, we're probably going to be there for a year, so I want a nice toilet. And don't get me wrong, we're going to have nice toilets in the house too. So this is a Danny thing. Like this is our forever home. We're building it for us. We're not building it in the thought of resale value or anything. These buildings, this land is ours, and we're not going anywhere, which is great. Definitely think long term, even temporarily. You still have to live there, so you want to make sure that you provide yourself enough room to live comfortably, including ensuring any furniture that you do have, because a lot of people aren't like Rich and I, where we came with nothing. We didn't want furniture we didn't want to have to move furniture back and forth as we were renting and saving up for our forever home. Right now, we're only scraping the surface. This is part one of, I'm guessing, going to be a 3-part series talking about the apartment build. The first Connex, pretty simple, pretty straightforward with those shelving units and housing all of those tools. But this is just the start. We're very excited. More to come. Next up is going to be framing, spray foam, drywall installation, and getting everything livable so that we can just move right in. We are really hoping to be settled into this thing by the end of the month. This is August. And then we'll be able to focus solely on the permanent house, on our house build. We've got a few more trees that we need to take down before we can get the foundation designed and built, and we are going to be bringing you guys along for the journey. But it is a step-by-step process. We save money and then invest money into our projects as they come, and it takes time. If anyone tells you that doing things yourself and doing things inexpensively, we're not hiring contractors, we're doing things ourselves, we're learning new trades, we're putting in a ton of this physical and emotional effort. So if anyone tries to tell you that, oh yeah, that it's better to do it this way, they've never done a project like this probably, or if they have, they still have a lot of this energy. We talked to a bunch of people who are building houses in and around this area, and they're like, I'm too old for that. And it's really funny that Rich and I, we just aren't we aren't old like that. We still want to do things ourselves, and we still want to put things in the way that we want them to be done and to the quality that we want done. So yeah, we're doing it piece by piece, but we're getting there. Oh, well, that's all I have for today, guys. Thanks for sticking around, and don't forget to comment any questions that you have, leave a like, share if you will, and subscribe if you want to follow along with more of our DIY homesteading mayhem. As usual, we are excited to have you here and follow us along with this journey. We feel very inspired, and I hope that you guys get inspired by some of the things that we do here as well. I hope that these videos inspire a resilience in you and encourage you to continue on in whatever it is, whatever skill you want to learn. If you're scared to do it, just do it. We're rooting for you. It's fine. It's a learning experience no matter where you're at. And just stay wild, stay weird, and just know that if you're here, you're probably built different too. Bye.